Hello, everybody. Hello. We should be good to go. Of course, give me audio checks, as always. Just let us know how the sound is sounding. Maybe a little bit redundant there, but we are back. So let me go ahead and introduce Palm here. Go ahead, take the floor as our resident host.
Hi, I'm Palm. I'm new. Hey, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to 5-9 Gaming Podcast, Dragon Ball Legends Podcast, episode 31, GT Rising. And before we start, I have a little announcement that I will also make at the end again if you missed it. But starting next week, we will do a little experiment. We're always trying to figure out how we can bring our content in the best possible way. So starting from next week, at least for a few weeks, we will try and only premiere the podcast on YouTube. We will not be live on Twitch. So make sure to check it out on YouTube on Monday. And with that said, you know what to do. Hit that follow button, hit that sub button. Twitch Prime is not a crime. And today I am joined by the free-to-play god Astig.
Yo, what's going on, guys?
I'm joined by Bradical.
I'm not a god, but hey, what's up?
But you're free-to-play, right? We have the free-to-play. I cannot call you legend because that's truth, but the free-to-play homie, Goresh.
What's going on, guys? I just want to give a little bit of a quick background as to why we're trying to do the YouTube thing. Doing the podcast live limits our production quality a lot because everything has to happen like during the podcast. So having it pre-recorded will allow us to put in extra production quality into that. So that's why we're experimenting with it. And if people don't like it, we can always switch back. So
there you go. Naz, you want to say something on top of that, or just say hi?
Oh, yeah, just to expand on what Goresh said, even though it won't be live for the next couple of weeks on Twitch or whatever, we will be filling those blocks, so there won't be any lack of entertainment. I know myself personally, I could fill the Dokkan block where it would be live, and I'm assuming that someone else hopefully will be able to stream during when Legends would be. So there should be no less entertainment on Twitch to make up for that. Oh, let me turn that off, too.
So things like that won't happen.
Yeah. See, that was on because I needed my alarm clock to wake me up, so I had to unmute my phone, and I just forgot to remute it.
So you wake up 20 minutes after the podcast starts? Nice. All right. We also have Professor in the house.
Hello.
And we are joined by Swift.
Yo.
Alrighty, and today's topics, we're going to obviously talk about the new Zenkai units. We're going to talk a bit about the Piccolo event, the new co-op mode, and we're going to talk about, I can already see it in the chat, OXO, something that's been going around. It's been around for a while, but I think it's gained more exposure now. And with that said, we're going to start off with Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, and who better to talk about Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta than the boy Asdig? What do you think of his Zenkai?
Honestly, I don't think it's like broken, but I don't think it's like too bad either. But if you had to ask me, if someone came up to me, especially like being free to play, I know I say that a lot, but I feel like if someone were to ask me and say like who is like the best like Red Saiyan to go ahead and Zenkai, obviously I think even Goresh would tell you that his favorite unit would personally be the Red Gogeta, right? I think that's definitely the best option especially for Saiyans, because I know a lot of people like if you're going to Zenkai this guy, I definitely do think that it should be for GT, right? Like, there's no other reason really to Zenkai him, in my own opinion. Yes, you can run him on Vegeta family too, and it just feels like, I don't know, this ain't enough to save GT, like, at all. Like, even his Zenkai buff, right? Like, even down to the Zenkai buff, you definitely he's not even giving the Zenkai buff to GT, which I kind of was salty about that. I'm not gonna lie. I was a little bit hurt. I wanted Omega to get some Zenkai buffs there, but he does do the Zenkai buff for Vegeta family, so I don't think he's bad at all. Like, I think that they actually did a good job on his kit, right? But it's just it's not enough for GT. I think we still are definitely on the path to GT, like GT Rising, exactly, right? But for the most part, I do think that like they did incorporate some good stuff here, but he still doesn't feel like he's necessarily the savior of GT. I think the Super 17 Zenkai was a little bit better, in my own opinion. They are two different units. One's defense, one is a blast, but that's just how I feel.
yeah, I actually think the main reason behind them not being as afraid of making Super 17 better was because he really only fits on two teams, GT and androids, right? Whereas this Vegeta, you can throw this guy on Saiyans, which is obviously always going to be the most expansive tag in the game, and then you also have Vegeta Family. So this guy being the potential to be great on more teams than just GT, I think, is what made them more limited in terms of how good they made him. But it's not like he's bad on GT. I think once we get more units that are able to complement him well on GT, he'll find a home there for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and I mean that sets you up so that he's either maining right now on Saiyans or Vegeta Family. I mean, some people are trying to like trollishly run GT already, and it's not an awful team. Like if you have the LL Super Saiyan 4 Goku, the Zenkai 17, and then the Zenkai Vegeta, you have the basis of a functional team. The only problem really is it doesn't give you too many alternate options for color disadvantage situations where you want to, like, oh, he's going to bring this unit. Let me bring someone who's this color to try and counter that. You don't really have that option yet with GT. Like, there's no counter option. The enemy's always probably going to know who you're bringing. But I expect, like Gresh said, that to change over time. And the team, again, the team right now is functional. I wouldn't say it's, like, high-tier meta, but I expect it to get there, you know, soon, probably. Sooner rather than later.
Yeah, they just need more options, like you said. So.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be real though. I mean, does him buffing Vegeta Family over GT really make that big of a difference? Like, would you play him alongside, I don't know, Omega? And then
you could. I think Red Green could be a really actual viable option if that was the case.
With 17, yeah.
That's exactly what I wanted to run.
Yeah, Vegeta, Omega, and then 17. Just because Omega and 17 together are so annoying, right? I mean, the green card spam with Omega, it's just annoying. And then you get the paralysis and stuff going off too. So
very fun. As long as you're playing it, not if you're going against it.
Oh yeah. You don't want to fight against it. Yeah.
Honestly, I found this Vegeta to be the most intimidating ran next to Super Saiyan 3 Goku. I mean,
right.
Yeah, I like the GT setup. It did feel like he was doing some work and taking a little damage, but the rest of the team doesn't really bump it out, and you've got to have a really high star count for your Goku to even try to, keep up. So I don't know. I hope they do the purple one here soon, and I feel like that actually might round out the team.
Yeah, I think when you're thinking about the Saiyan team, this guy being ran on there, most of the really powerful Saiyans in this game that are on like a actual just pure Saiyan team are blast based, right? You got Green Super Saiyan 3 Goku, you got Namek Goku. So those are the two main pure Saiyan units that you're going to be running on the Saiyan team. And now you got this guy who's also blast based, so I feel like he fits perfectly on that team. You could even run a variation where you have a team that's hyper focused on just LF Super Saiyan 3 Goku because he's green. Obviously he covers red Vegeta's weakness to blue, and then you can run somebody like the yellow You Are Number 1 Vegeta, which covers the green Goku's weakness to purple units. So that team where you're focusing on having the green Goku be like the main option for there is actually like a really viable way to run this Vegeta, I think, because he fits really well in that setup.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And that like was already said, that green Super Saiyan 3 covers his back very well. I've actually ran into a few Saiyan teams where it's this Vegeta, green Super Saiyan 3, and maybe that yellow Angel Vegeta. But I think on Saiyans, this dude is actually pretty nasty.
Yeah, I assume that we're going to be seeing him only there for a while.
Yeah,
depending on what the anniversary is going to bring, huh?
They're in a Vegeta family, I would say. ZVG is like in heaven right now with this.
Yeah.
But I agree that his main competition is just the Red Gogeta, and then it just comes down to, honestly, which character fits your playstyle better, right? Like, Vegeta is much more offensive than Gogeta, I would say. Just much more concerned about click. He's kind of like the Super Saiyan 3 Goku almost. You just click cards and the enemy dies, right? But
kinda, yeah.
Gogeta will have, a little bit more technical play with the green card. I mean, they both have a feint, but, Vegeta's is on his ult, not his blue card. So, similar, just kind of strike versus blast, and which one suits your playstyle better.
He also does have that mini support buff from his main, right, where he buffs the damage of all of his allies.
Yeah, if you
say...
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I will also say that a lot of people are comparing this Vegeta directly to the Red Gogeta Zenkai, and I think while they're both comparable, I guess, for the Saiyan team, you can really now split up the Saiyan team into two different Saiyan teams, one being a blast-based team, which is what we just talked about with Namek Goku and the green LF Super Saiyan 3 Goku, and then this Vegeta. And then you could also have a separate Saiyan team, which is pretty much just a Super Saiyan team with Bardock, right? You have Bardock, you got Red Gogeta, you have green Zenkai Broly, you have purple Super Saiyan 3 Goku. So all those melee-based Saiyans would be a part of that, like, more Bardock-centric-ish Saiyan team. So those are really the two options I see right now that are, at the forefront for Saiyans.
I did find it extremely funny that I think it was Goresh that predicted that there would be a clip of Vegeta launching a blast card and then LF Super Saiyan 4 Goku popping the ultimate and just getting one-shotted. And then like 3 or 4 days later, I actually saw that exact clip. I just started laughing so hard.
Yeah, because he does more damage to blast armor, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Poor Super Saiyan 4.
He's already got like
Goku,
160% blast damage, and that throws another 100% on there.
Yeah.
I really like that concept, just throwing that out into the universe of punishing blast armor on, or at least units that can punish it.
Absolutely.
That was
I definitely want to see more units that have that.
That was a strictly Gogeta thing before, wasn't it? Does anyone else besides like the old transforming blue Gogeta have that?
LF Piccolo.
I think it's just
LF
him.
Piccolo?
Oh, he does?
Oh, does he?
Okay.
Yeah, yes, he does.
Oh.
I didn't even
Damn,
realize
I
that.
main region and I don't know. I just
I'll
play
have
it,
to
I
use
just
him more
kill.
often then.
Man,
Doing breakdown
Yeah.
videos for every unit has their perks.
yeah, not a lot of units have that.
This pain
Yeah,
is
I don't
real,
even
and
know
there's
how to
only
read.
one way out.
Yeah, I got that question immediately because of the breakdown video I do on every unit.
So what equips do you run on him?
Blast.
For
There's
equips?
there's a really good GT specific equipment that's actually Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta is like on the equip that gives him up to 10% pure blast damage if you have a Super Saiyan 4 battle member, which is himself. So that's a good one. And it depends on the team you're running him on. Like there's for a pure Saiyan team, there's that one with Goku looking to the side. That's pure blast for every Saiyan on your team.
Hurry
too, right?
Vegeta.
Yeah,
Yeah, that one. Yep.
exactly.
I mean, there's a bunch of really good ranged ones. There's the one we got a few PvP seasons ago, which is up to 20% to base blast attack in the third slot. That we all went crazy of when it released. It was the one with Cell doing the Kamehameha. What else? There's also the this equip I've been trying to roll forever. That's the one with Super Saiyan 4 Goku who's been blinded by Ice Shenron. It has base blast in the third slot, it has special move in the second slot, and I think there's like either strike or blast defense in slot 1. That one's pretty good as well.
And there's the Vegeta family item. I'm pulling it up the name right now. Boundary breaking Vegeta. Well, that's
Yeah, that's strike, isn't it? Or no?
it's blast and strike with special move
Yeah.
damage, but it's pure strike. It's just an option.
Yeah.
The one from a couple seasons ago, that's the one, I think it's called Hurry Up and Die for ranged units, right?
Yep, that's what I'm talking about.
That
Where
was
it's,
so good.
yeah, up to 20% blast attack. You got up to 12% special move damage and key recovery. I love that equipment.
Would you say that new Super Saiyan 4, like last season's PvP equipment, would be even worth considering?
Yeah.
Are you talking about the
these
one
times
that's
we're talking
currently
about
on
the
right
value?
now?
Huh?
Yeah, that one. That's the current one. I've had such awful luck with that one, but that is a really good one, yeah, because that's health.
Yeah, it's the health, the ultimate damage, and the special move damage, right? I feel like that one's pretty good too.
Yep.
That equip can definitely help him be a little bit more tanky with that up to 10% base health.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
love the health equips.
And ultimately, I would say that's his biggest downfall. Like, similarly to... I mean, I wouldn't want to say the LF Super Saiyan 4 Goku because he's a worse example, but he doesn't take hits super well. Like, he is a lot more defensive now than what he used to be, but, he's still not difficult to kill necessarily. So,
Yeah.
anything that would help, shore up his defensive side would be great. Because his offenses are on point now. He can kill, like, anybody, but... still kind of glass cannony a little bit.
Yeah.
But I guess he also has to have some downside, like a pitfall, so to speak.
Oh yeah, for sure. If they would have released this guy and he came out super tanky, I think he would actually be like busted.
So I only have anecdotal from fighting him, but he just feels really well rounded. He doesn't feel like he's overly going off with his damage. Doesn't feel like he gets blown up quickly. Just kind of does his job,
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, my only complaint, which isn't even really a complaint because certain characters have to be like this, is just he's a very simple, linear character to play. You just click cards and kill people. Again, just like the Super Saiyan 3 Purple Goku. He doesn't require any technical skills or special abilities to play him. He's just probably a very good unit for new players to get accustomed to the game with as well. No.
I kind of agree with that.
He just kind of feel like a blast version of that Goku. I would agree.
Yeah.
So
And
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say real quick. It brings us back to the whole, argument of, we want when Zenkai units come out, we want them to be really good, but at the same time, we want them to be balanced. But also, the whole argument is if they release nothing but balanced Zenkais, then how do we fight the currently overpowered Zenkais? So it's just kind of a internal battle between us and the developers on, what we want. Do we want balanced Zenkais? Do we want busted Zenkais? But yeah, I agree. This guy's definitely, in my opinion, well balanced. He does decent damage, and he definitely has his value.
I think the role of Zenkai going forward should be exactly what this Vegeta is. Well, for the most part, right? A balanced unit doesn't overwhelm the meta and provides a new Zenkai ability, so you can then start mixing up. Because I think the late term value of all the Zenkai units is going to be bench, and so the more of them we have, the more setups you can possibly run, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
It's a good
as
point.
long as the unit doesn't break the game like Gohan did, it just now Red Vegeta family has more options.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then I
And
would
as
be
for Saiyans-
curious, where
Oh,
would
go
you
ahead.
rank them in terms of Zenkais? Like who does he compare to?
I think he fits pretty well as somebody who uses Vegeta family pretty much for every PvP season ever since Purple Vegeta came out. I would say he ranks pretty well with that God Key Vegeta and the Blue Trunks. They actually are like in a very similar tier. They're not quite top of the top, but they're definitely like not A tier or something, right? Middle S. He does
Yeah, I
destroy
agree with that.
18, and that feels good. I gotta tell you what. It really does. It really feels. He just body bags her. I do like that.
Yeah. People might not agree with me here, but I feel like he's very similar to, in power level, not in design, to Purple Broly. I think people really underrate Purple Broly a lot. To me, he kind of feels like
I agree with
in
that.
that same power level to Purple Broly, which is actually really good because I think that Purple Broly is very good.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, I put a lot of stock in Purple Broly. I kind of lowballed him at first, but I started running him, and he has soloed entire teams for me, no problem. So,
Yeah.
I just, with this Vegeta, I feel the pressure because I'm worried about the Fate, and I'm sure there's some synergy between him and his allies. I personally haven't had any issues popping him.
Yeah. I think, honestly, I would say, well, what do you guys think? Would this guy be like a must, like Zenkai for Saiyans, like for pure Saiyans?
No.
If
If
you
you have
don't
Gogeta,
already,
no.
yeah, I was about to say, if you don't already have Gogeta, then I would highly recommend picking one of the two. But if you already have Gogeta, you don't need him right now. If you're a budget player, his Zenkai banner will be up for a while. So this is one of those situations where if you don't absolutely need him, say you already have Gogeta, I would probably wait until we know more about the anniversary, then decide how to spend your crystals.
That's exactly what I was saying. His banner is up. The Zenkai banner is up until June 15th, which is literally in the middle of the anniversary. So just wait. There's no point in rushing it.
Yeah. Unless you
Yeah, we-
want to get showcases out early, right?
Yeah, I
unless
if you're
you're-
not
unless
a
you're a
content
content creator.
Yeah, if you're not a content creator, if you're just like a budget player who struggles to decide where to spend your crystals, wait till anniversary.
Yeah, because we should be finding out, what's coming for anniversary like before his banner goes away. So
Yeah. And like my mindset on the whole thing too is that we still have Ultra Goku, right? So I kind of feel like in a way that I kind of want to just rely on my Ultra Goku for a red unit for Saiyans. But that's just me being a budget player at the same time, right?
No, yeah, you totally can. Yeah, Ultra Goku's fantastic, and he's going to end up at 14 stars.
Yeah, and Ultra Goku also affords you some additional technical play options in battle with his green card and the cover save. So you do have some different tricks up your sleeve when running him. Gives you a reason to enjoy both units separately.
The last thing I want to personally throw on about Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, I don't know if you want to move on or what, but I think he's one of the few Zenkais that could be just Z3, because of that 100% to blast damage inflicted while the enemy's armor, gets his key recovery. Obviously, you want the extra defense from Z6, right? Z7. But I think if you're really budget and you just want that hits a little bit hard, you could probably make that work if you got like 12, 13 stars at Z3. He's one of the few Zenkais I would say he's okay because he gets his better buffer at Z3.
Yeah, because what his Z6 one is just plus 15% to 2 more stats, right? That's it, right?
It's just defense,
yeah.
No, the Z6, yeah, it's 15%
which is
defense,
good.
15% offense or something like that.
Well,
Yeah, blast damage, yeah, which is great. But it's like if you're not looking for that, you just want something that hits a little bit hard, and he's got high stars. You could make it work for sure.
Yeah, that works, but let's not forget that you're getting the base stat total from all the Zenkai panels as well, and you're leveling up your cards to level 10 on the strike and blast.
Well, of course, this is straight up for like I'm very free to play player, and I just want a Zenkai him. He can be run at Z3. It's just you're not getting the best out of him, of course.
Mainly answering the 15% to damage reduction and damage increased. That's not all you're getting from it. Just in case people are. Yeah, I see a lot of people stop at Z6, and it hurts my soul.
Yeah, just because that scales with the Soul Boost panels is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, bro, I rocked out with a Z6 Android 18 for the longest time, and she was still, obviously, because of who she is, murking people left and right. There's a couple other Zenkais that were the same way, where I could only, like the purple Super Saiyan Goku, I had to rock with him at Z6 for a while. You can still get to top 3K, top 1K, if you're skilled enough at reading the opponent, not falling for bait, striking through tackles. If your skills in the game are good enough, you can make it work with Z3.
Dude, I've been bodied by GT at like high ranks. It can happen. Like this is like 2 months ago. It can happen, man. Like if somebody's really good.
Speaking of the tackle, that's one thing that I think would annoy me about this Vegeta, because I haven't played him myself yet, is what I just saw on the screen is you use a green card and you see that your opponent is tackling, but all of a sudden all of your strike cards disappear.
Yeah,
So you have to vanish. That's
my biggest issue with like full blast units that carry 2 blast cards in their hand, or not in their hand, but in their deck. Because like you just said, if you have a full hand of blast cards, you really have no defense against tackle. You have to vanish.
Yeah. And then you're already at a disadvantage, especially if you have just 2 units left. That's just bad for you.
Yeah. And people put a lot of emphasis and stake onto building your teams separately, right? Like, the blast version of Saiyans, the strike version of Saiyans. But there's really nothing preventing you from running like a hybrid of the 2 teams. Like, chances are you already have Super Saiyan 3 Goku on the team, and even though all of his buffs are pretty much general damage buffs, so he can do blast attacks okay, I mean, he's still primarily a strike character. Like, his green card only buffs his strikes. So if you're like me, for example, who doesn't have Bardock Zenkai, you can totally run a hybrid version of the team, and it's actually not bad because it evens out your deck, like what Azdeek or Swift was just talking about, where you're not bringing 7 yellow cards and only 2 reds, and that kind of screws up your card draw speed. So it's still viable to mix and match.
Right, I agree.
Yeah, I don't like having a full hand of either strike or blast, because it's harder to initiate if you only have strike cards, but it's also harder to defend if you only have blast cards. Like at mid-range, that's such a detriment to you.
Yeah,
if I had to choose, though, I would probably prefer a handful of strikes over a handful of blasts. Just me personally with my playstyle. I'm sure there's probably other opinions out there, but yeah, I agree. I'd like to have a mix of both.
I think at this point in the game, for the battle system that we have in place right now, strikes are definitely more valuable, just because even if you have a handful of strikes, you can still initiate with a dash tackle if you want, and strikes are going to help you defend against a tackle, whereas with blast, you have to vanish.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly. And I mean, you can just go up to their face and see if they flinch, and just use a strike when they sidestep or anything, something like this as well.
Yeah, and then strike attacks are quicker too, right? They're faster animation. You not necessarily going to get tapped out of them and stuff like that.
Yeah, the only thing I want nerfed about strike is that when someone sidesteps and you're catching them at the end of the sidestep and you use a blast arts and they're a blast armor unit and they just dive right on through that.
Yep.
I get what's happening. I don't feel like it should be rewarded. That's the only instance that I feel like strike should be nerfed. But I could be just talking out my butt.
No, I 100%
agree with that.
I think that's more of
you
a
feel
problem
like
with.
you're
I
catching
think it's more
them,
of a problem with blast armor specifically, more than just strikes, right?
Yeah.
Well, that interaction with it is so powerful. I can't tell you how many times that I have only blast in my hand. I caught him in the sidestep, but since I didn't catch him, you know, because you can get them in the sidestep right at the very beginning, but that's just guessing them, and then there's actually reading them and seeing it. And if you read them, you have to have strike or you're screwed. And that's hate it.
And it really feels bad because, I mean, honestly, in my opinion, at that point, you're outplaying them. If you actually catch them in the sidestep and you have a handful of blast cards, you're still outplaying them. It's just unfortunate RNG that you have a handful of blast cards. So it's like, it really feels bad when that happens.
Yeah.
It feels bad, man. All right, so we got another Zenkai unit on Wednesday, and that was the Legends Road Piccolo. Radical, how do you feel about him? And would you have rather had Great Saiyaman and them keeping it in order?
I mean, I love Great Saiyaman. I loved when he first came out. Like, he's fantastic. Obviously, he's terrible now. But having that feint on the super would have been, like, huge, right? Like, it's like, is it a guaranteed feint? I actually don't remember 100%. On the first one, is it 50%?
No.
I don't think it's guaranteed.
Maybe it's 50-50. Yeah, I think it's 50-50.
Yeah.
I think you're right. But still, I mean, coming off your main ability, you draw a super and you have a 50% chance to feint them is pretty solid. Plus, his animations are slick. But this Piccolo, I only have him Z5 right now because I'm not, like, hustling through because I don't ever really use Region. Plus, I have LF Piccolo. I don't need to really hustle it out. But he's fantastic from what I've seen. Mm-hmm. I've only used him a little bit at, like, Z5. But all of his abilities, he got a massive stack in, like, just everything. He does so much on his 4 abilities now, his uniques. His stats are ridiculous. What does he have? 249, 276, 179, 183. That's pretty nutty for a free-to-play unit.
Yeah.
I don't know if he takes Goku's spot, though, because Goku having endurance, I don't know if he does on that one, but...
I was going to say, even if you compare his stats to the other Zenkai Legends Road units, his stats are actually significantly higher. So,
well, there's something else.
He is
weird
later,
about this
so it
one.
makes sense. Right?
I feel like they were comfortable making him stronger because, and I don't mean in his support abilities, but like his actual Z ability, the Zenkai ability, doesn't do as much for the team. So maybe they felt better about making him independently stronger because he's not, I don't know, making the whole team that's crazy over here, maybe? I don't know.
Well, how does that interact with, let's say the purple Great Saiyaman 1 and 2, who we were expecting because they said they were going to do them in order, right? So, there's no other purple Legends Road units. Do they plan on releasing more, purple Legends Road units? Or is this going to be unique for this Piccolo that he has a lot for just yellow Legends Road? Because it seems like he's just a great bench for the Goku, and then if you run 2, go for it, right? But he doesn't really support the rest.
Well, I think them creating this Zenkai ability for this Piccolo is indicative that they're going to eventually create more Legends Road units because, yeah, like you said, once we get to the purple Great Saiyaman, if he has this same structure for his Zenkai ability where it's purple and Legends Road, he's literally only buffing himself. Yeah. So I assume at some point in the future we will be getting more Legends Road units to make those Zenkai abilities more effective.
You know, I think Legends Road at this point is like the new baseball Yamcha in terms of getting a new one, right? Like, it's been the longest amount of time from any other event since we've got another new Legends Road character. Correct me if I'm wrong, but...
Yeah, the last one was Green Gohan, right?
That was, like, what, a year ago?
So long ago.
More?
Yeah. More.
Well, I'm worried that
yeah, like a year and a half. Yeah.
Legends Road is going to fall to the same trap that, well, frankly, every unit's falling to, right? The only ones that are interesting are the Zenkais, unless you're crazy. Right? So we get a new Legends Road unit, we're all going to stick our nose up to it and run this Piccolo and see if the the Z ability was worth even putting on the team.
Well, this does give them an interesting opportunity, right? That no other character in the game has, right? And when I say that, I don't know if they're going to do this or not, but imagine a day where a new Legends Road character comes out and he's Zenkaiable like day one. Like, just the whole event is formatted around get this new character and get him Zenkai'd. Because he's free to play, so he's obviously not going to be quite as good as any premium unit, but because of that, to make up for it.
That'd be amazing. That'd be amazing if it was instant.
Straight out the gate.
I've never really been a fan of that, and this is the same problem that I have with Dokkan 2 with EZAs, is when they because Dokkan actually has done this a lot recently, where they introduce units that are instantly getting EZAs when they come out.
Yep.
Which is the equivalent of Legends units coming out and then them immediately getting Zenkais. The reason why I'm not a huge fan of that is because Zenkai, in my opinion, is meant to help units that are no longer relevant that once upon a time were relevant. So if you have a unit that comes out that is automatically getting a Zenkai, that already sets them up for failure later down the road when they're no longer viable or good anymore. Because then, if these units come out that are already good without a Zenkai, they'll be viable now, and then they'll be viable in the future when they do eventually get a Zenkai. So.
Well, I think the only world that we could have units getting a Zenkai on release is when they find a true sweet spot on the power creep, where they just kind of want to, plateau off these units. They really decide this is the power level of a Zenkai. We're never really going to exceed it. I don't see that happening because it's a gacha game.
Yeah.
But that's the only situation where they could release them as Zenkais. Otherwise, I gotta agree with Goresh. You want these units to come out. Like this new hit is a great example. He's really cool. He's going to carry his own weight right now. He's going to have his heyday right now. And then here in a year or two, he's going to get his Zenkai and it's round 2, right? And so you don't get that if he gets his Zenkai day 1. He's going to have this meta and that'll be it.
I don't disagree.
Well, they would just need to increase. They need to increase how Legends Road comes out. Then they got to be like viable out the gate. Because I mean, even Gohan was okay because hybrids is ridiculous, right? So the second he came out, he had at least a team to kind of fall onto a little bit, at least Sun Family. But if they're going to release these units, they can't come out and be like 2-year-old unit essentially, because Legends Road is 2 years old at this point, basically 2.5. So they can't.
Yeah,
I get what you guys are saying 100%, but they got to increase that massively to make them the standards, and it's a free-to-play unit. They're never going to be that,
I would look at something like the free-to-play Buhan, because I believe he's our most recent free-to-play straight-up unit that's come out. He's actually not bad. Like, he can do a lot of work if you play him correctly. He's a free 14-star unit, so I think if they come out with a new Legends Road unit in the future, then they need to let us get them to 14 stars right away. That would help, because then you're not limited by the stat issues because whenever Legends Road used to come out in the past, remember they always used to cap us at 6-star. I think they should just remove that and make it immediately 14 stars, and then just make them like good. Like the Buhan is solid. Like you could run him on a regen team and be perfectly okay and competing in the top PvP ranks. I think if you're good enough with him.
I agree with the star count. Yeah, if they increase that up, I agree with you.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying, and I see the point too, especially when making the parallel to Dokkan with the day 1 EZAs. But I also see a world where it does happen, and that's, if the game goes 4, 5, 6 years old, I would assume there will be more systems introduced to the game, like the next level and the next level of stuff, just like how Zenkais themselves were introduced. If the game goes on that long, I expect an evolution into the game where behaviors like what we just talked about, day 1 Zenkais and stuff, will be more normalized because they'll be, the new power creep thing, the next thing. So, just like Ultra units coming out, the game is going to continue to evolve, and who knows,
Well, I mean, wasn't 9,999 like an original design idea they had, and then I feel like Zenkai's replacing that because this is how we're finishing the units.
Yeah, for all intents and purposes, the levels stop at 5,000, but like you said, the game is programmed to go up to 9,999, and we know that.
We heard confirmation that it's never like 5,000 is the end, right?
Yeah, yes, well, for now, I mean, people can always change their mind, but as of right now, seems to be a solidified decision. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But we know that hackers, like I've seen a Japanese hacker that has hacked his Yellow Movies Gohan to level 9,999, and I've seen his stats, like. The attack stats for pushing 400k. The defense stats are both around 250,000. Like, it exists in the game. It's just they're consciously not doing it for now or anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean, just going off topic real quick, just to talk about the level cap thing. The issue with the level cap is it increasingly gets more and more difficult to ever increase that as we get more characters, because that means you're gonna have to level them all up, right? So it makes it harder for somebody who's just starting the game, for newer players to catch up to people who have been.
God, I can't even imagine if I just pick the game up. I'm like, wait, 9,000 for 6 units? I can't even imagine.
Exactly. Yeah, so that's one of the limitations I think that they're trying to avoid, is because remember, this game is always trying to help out newer players and everything. We constantly have those story things where you, on the first clear, you get no energy consumption when you play the story. They're always trying to help people by putting like specific banner or units on banners to help out free play or new players. So, I mean, they're doing a lot for new players, and that would be a direct slap in the face, I feel like, to new players if they increase the level cap, because it's going to be impossible to catch up.
Yeah, that would take like 5 or 6 gold medals just to get him up there.
Well, I mean, it used to take a while to get your units up, and now you can get them up quicker. I mean, they just make the EXP curve faster. I think, I mean, if they make the EXP quicker to obtain, they can get both goals, and then, frankly, if you raise the level cap, you get more Chrono Crystals. But I wanted to set at 5,000. Let's be clear on that. It used to take forever to level your units. Like, I remember getting a unit that morning, and then I get to play with it that afternoon because they keep throwing it into training and I have to go to work or whatever, right? Now you just kind of bell them, and you have it done in just a few minutes.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's definitely possible, but yeah, I'm not really looking forward to that happening. But yeah, it's definitely possible.
No, I don't think they're going to do it. And I really like the idea of just stopping where they're at right now, you know? The Zenkai, as you hate it or love it, it looks clean, it fills out the rest of the board, and let's just stop there, right?
I agree. Also, you have that middle tile closed for now, so for me that was always the indication that this is where we stop, because it's 700%, not 498 what we used to have, right?
I posted a link in the chat for anyone who wants to see what a level 9,999 character looks like. There's the stat sheet and a video of gameplay as well. It's pretty ridiculous.
I mean,
it's like I remember back in the literally the beginning of the game, like the first month the game was out, they added a bunch of items into the database that to this day have never been used. Like I remember there was a Zeno button item or something that was in the database, and that to this day still is sitting there not being used. So there's a lot of stuff they had ideas for, I think, early on in the game's lifespan, and they just, eventually just either scrapped it or just are going to revisit it later. So
yeah. I mean, dev decisions. And it's also fair, because if you notice, okay, something's not going to work based on feedback, based on testing, I feel like it's fair to just throw stuff away.
Yeah. Another thing that I wanted to say is that is this Piccolo the only unit in the game that can get a sextuple Zenkai boost?
Yes, he is. 6 Zenkai boosts at once. Yeah. Because he buffs himself too, right?
Yeah. Yep. That's crazy.
The Legends Road Zenkai abilities obviously are not as potent as like the summonable Zenkai abilities, but nonetheless, it is still 6. Yeah.
That's nuts.
I'm assuming you're gonna try that for a video.
This is literally the video that's going on right now. Is that video?
Oh, you already recorded it. The 6th
yeah,
way.
I took that. Because I also played him on Mono Yellow with Piccolo, so like Mono Piccolo, and for one, I had so much fun, but that's also because I love DKP and LF Piccolo. I have to say that when I could, I would sack off this Legends Road Piccolo to the Rising Rush just to get card draw for everybody, and it was such a big help. It was just so much fun.
Double card draw speed for DKP.
I mean, also I had a video where I literally ran through a red green Sun family team with Zenkai 7 Gohan with Mono Yellow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
The one thing I'll say about this Piccolo too is the fact that because they extended the duration of his buffs that he gives to his allies, I think it's 30 counts for his main ability, and then I think is it also another 30 counts from his first unique? I think it is. He switches out, he can switch back in 10 timer counts. The reason why you see instances of this Piccolo able to do massive amounts of damage is because he can receive his own support buffs when he switches back in, because they last for so long. So that's why I feel like they gave him 40% damage on his 4th unique ability, which is definitely very good, but it's not like they gave him 80 or 90%. And that's the reason why I think they did that, is because he can get his own support buffs when he switches back in.
Kind of like Bardock, when you switch him in after 10 counts, he gets
exactly. Yeah, it's exactly like Bardock. Yep.
Gresh, you want to clarify? People in the chat are seeming to have some confusion about how Zenkai characters, their abilities don't buff themselves when they clearly do. So you might clear that up for chat.
I mean, yeah. So the every Zenkai ability that you have on your bench buffs anything that they indicate that they're buffing. So for instance, this Piccolo, his Zenkai ability is buffing Yellow and Legends Road. So if you're a character that has the Legends Road tag and you're the element Yellow, you will get the Zenkai buff. So the only units in the game that are going to be recipients of the Zenkai buff are himself and the Kid Goku, because those are the only 2 units that fulfill those conditions.
Yeah, the Zenkai buffs do apply to the character, bringing them on their own kit. Chat, just to solidify that.
That's why you see videos that these creators make where, like, for instance, the one I made of Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, sorry, the red one that just got a Zenkai. Like, him getting Zenkai buffed from the red Namek Goku, like the first unit in the game that has the red Zenkai 7 Namek Goku, technically that is a double Zenkai buff because he's getting his own Zenkai buff and that Goku Zenkai buff. So it is technically 2 times Zenkai ability buff.
Yep.
All right.
What's a
like,
Zenkai again?
No, nothing. It's,
We don't talk
it's something only the rich people get.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we
I
got
wasn't
some,
talking to
some
you, Donkey.
missions.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
We got some missions and the Legends Road Piccolo event revamp. Swift, have you finished them out, and how do you feel about the format and the missions?
Okay, so I definitely like it better than just sitting there having to grind co-op over and over again. I am currently grinding him. I think I have him Zenkai 6 fully boosted, so I have him almost completed. Probably put, roughly 2,000 energy, probably actually more than that into it. So yeah, definitely spent a couple thousand energy on it. I like it. I'm just like, and I've said it before, anything free to play, I'm a fan of. Obviously, we all know going into it, it's going to be a grind. It's going to take a lot of energy, a lot of time and effort. But at the end of the day, if you can get a, Zenkai 7 fully boosted unit for free, I think it's worth it. And, I mentioned this before as well. For people that didn't Zenkai Yellow DKP, or they don't have LF Piccolo Zenkai, this dude is a phenomenal option for a yellow regen unit. So yeah, like for me, for example, he's gonna basically be able to complete my regen team having a yellow Zenkai unit. So yeah, but overall for the mission specifically, I'm a fan of it. Definitely takes a lot of energy, like I said, but it's free, and it's a grind, but it's free, so I like it.
Yeah, I think the missions that they added are very helpful to get this guy Zenkai, because I think you get like 5,000. You can literally get him get him done for free. There's a banner to get his Zenkai power. I recommend absolutely not summoning on that and using your crystals.
Don't waste your CC.
There are missions that will literally get you the Zenkai power that you need for this guy for free, 100%.
Yeah.
Because I believe you get Zenkai 3. You get Zenkai 3 from the original event, I think, and then those missions give you the last 4 tiers, I think, right?
So I think how this goes is you get the key once you clear all the challenges in the original event. With that key, you can unlock an event in the special tab that has 10 stages where you have to play it, I think, at least twice. I think you can get all the challenges done in 2 runs. And once you've done that, you get another key, which gives you the missions for the last 4,000 Zenkai Awakening power.
Yeah, and this event is going until May 19th, so we have a while for this event to be up. What I would do is I would just play the event with your spare energy that you have to get the the Z power, the souls, whatever you need to help boost this guy up, and then take it slow, take it easy. Don't like spend a million skip tickets or energy on this. It's not going to be worth it at the end of the day. And then when the event comes down to the last few days that it's up, you can reevaluate, see what your progress is with him, and then you can make a decision then.
Yeah. Also, don't forget that there are a couple of missions for the regular and Z power. So, for example, if you get, I think, 3,000 of the yellow medals, you can get a few more Z powers, and then also you can buy them from the shop with those medals. So you don't need to 14-star him off of energy.
Yeah, and that was partly my issue. Looking back, I wish I just kind of like you guys mentioned, just do the daily battles every day, slowly grind them. I feel like I probably put too much energy into it, but I was excited for this guy. So I kind of jumped the gun a little bit. But yeah, if you're looking to save energy, definitely just do your daily battles, and like Goresh said, use the 10 energy that constantly recharges and just do it that way.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. Honestly, I honestly think that the missions were not even like the worst thing in the world. Like, I went ahead and I did all of the missions like in a single day. Like, when it dropped, I went ahead and did all of them, and it was a little painful doing it that way, like, for sure, especially when you consider like all your resources basically being drained. And I remember even doing like the PvP missions. They were kind of easy. I kind of just went like, because the PvP missions count even if you do casual battle, so that's also counting towards like playing PvP, and then also towards getting like your KOs too. So that was pretty nice.
Especially if you're using regen units while you're battling, because I think some of the missions you have to use regen units. You can knock out a lot of those missions pretty quickly.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that from a God Key main who's excited for a region unit. I just want to point that out.
When worlds collide.
It's a secret. It's a secret.
Now, because he's missing a red unit so much, so he needs to go to other teams. All right, so one more thing that reset on Wednesday was our favorite game mode, co-op. And for some reason, they made it even more annoying, didn't they, Goresh?
Yeah. Look, I am somebody who's in a position to not really have to worry about co-op just because I have, 14. I'm using 14-star LF Super Saiyan 4 Goku for this co-op event, and I will tell you right now, I have died many, many times on this co-op stage. So it's not like, oh, you have the unit, you're good to go. Even with the boost units, you will still find instances where you can't win.
With randoms or with friends too?
With randoms. Well, because you need to have a random to get the daily missions done,
Sure.
right?
Extra
The
20,
bonuses.
20, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, look, it's not, this is not what I would consider to be a very fun or balanced event that would help a lot of players out. I don't know why they did this. There's nobody that actually enjoys going into this extreme version of co-op every day. Even with the last one, I mean, the boost units with being the Goku and the hit, I think really ruined things, because you could technically come in with like a Zenkai 7 blue Goku and be okay here, but is that fun to be limited to so many few units you can bring in here and be okay? I mean, yeah, it's supposed to be hard. It's supposed to be the extreme stage. I don't think basically locking you into using a set amount of few units equals a higher difficulty. I think it just means, hey, summon for these units so you have a better chance of actually winning and getting more Z power for Ultra Goku. If this was not, if Ultra Goku Z power was not locked behind this, I wouldn't have as big of a problem here. But the fact that you have to essentially be doing this every single day to get the maximum amount of Z power for Ultra Goku is the one reason why I have such a big problem with this.
Yeah.
Honestly, for me, it outweighed it, and I stopped playing co-op altogether. Unless somebody
same.
asks me, "Hey, can you help me with this real quick?" Because I have a six-star LF Super Saiyan 4 Goku, so I can, if I want to, but I just don't want to. Like 60 Z power a day. Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
It's gonna be 1 star in the end.
That's how I felt last co-op season. I was just like, I'm done with this. It was like taking 30 minutes a day to do co-op. And
Sometimes longer than that.
If you had full control over the situation, right, and you were running the units you wanted to run with your buddy, and you were smacking a boss that was difficult, but you knew how to beat the boss, that's one thing, right? But it's like, it goes from stupid dumb to where you're just locking every single card, you win, to you have no control over the situation, you're just dead. And it's just not fun.
I will just say right now, my 14-star Super Saiyan 4 Goku LF has gotten killed from 80% health in one card.
Jesus.
Yeah. The blue cards,
the
blue
biggest
cards do so much damage.
The biggest unspoken, like, annoying, worst game design of this co-op, which I never hear anyone really talk about, is the fact that whenever the AI reestablishes its shield, it just gets a free unblockable attack, and there's
I brought
nothing...
that up last week.
Yeah, I know he did, but I'm talking about like in the outside of us here on 5-9, like nobody really mentions how annoying that is, because the enemy just like, oh, hey, free hit, throw pizza at you, you're dead. Nothing you can do. Like, hey, enjoy going to re-queue again and starting over. Like, I hate it.
The funny part is, by funny I mean dreadfully painful, but the funny part is, so they added endurance on this guy, and I say funny because everybody always used to complain about, like, don't do your LFs in co-op, we don't want to see your LFs, and it's just funny that they actually made it to where this one it's actually more viable to finish it with an LF, that way you don't have to worry about the endurance. But yeah, the endurance
It takes
of this guy
just
is
as long.
Yeah, and it's just, like I said, it's dreadfully painful. I dread doing these co-ops. For those that follow me on Twitter, I've made multiple tweets about it. It's just like, and like Prof said, it takes up to 30 minutes, sometimes more. I've had times where I'm trying to get my 3 daily battles done, and it can take sometimes over an hour. So it's definitely, it's getting on my nerves a little bit.
Yeah, and I see some people talking about this in the chat too, so I'm just going to address this as well. The fact that this whole campaign, like, we have 3 seasons of PvP, we have 3 seasons of co-op, the entire focus is about getting Ultra Goku Z power. The fact that he is not a boost unit for the co-op right now is
absurd.
Indicative that it's absurd, but it's so obvious that the reason why he's not a boost unit is because they want you to pull these new units to have a better chance at winning. They want you to pay. Like, that's the reason why he's not a boost unit. And it's just so scummy that they do that. It's just, like, ridiculous.
Well, I know I don't feel like I'm missing out, because I know a lot of players aren't going to hit top 3K, right? And so I don't want to spend 30 minutes to an hour doing co-op. Well, they don't want to spend 15 to 30 minutes PvPing, or God knows how long setting up their team. So there's going to be players that are going to miss out on this, and I feel like that's okay. We could not do the extreme one. My biggest complaint is it feels like the only way they know how to make something harder is to make a damage slider, and okay, well, he two shots you now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have an issue with the event being hard. My issue is that it's hard because it's artificially difficult for every unit in the game that's not a boost unit to win.
Yeah.
Right. The boost unit thing itself is the issue. It's not the fact that the event itself is hard. I'm okay with hard content. Just, don't limit it to only being viable to be beaten with a few units in the game, when the game has like 200 units in it or something. So.
And then it's like the latest LF and the Zenkai. And
Theoretically speaking, any Super Saiyan Goku from this Namek saga in the game should get like a 200% damage boost against this Frieza or something. Like, so just free up the options for characters that can be used.
Yeah.
And
I
they
think
need
another
to
thing.
increase the boost amount too. Go ahead, Asdik. Sorry.
Oh, no, I was just gonna say too. Another thing that I wanted to point out is that they gave Namekians a little buff, dude. And I went into this, I was just like, dude, my LR Piccolo is going to put in work. That was not the case.
I mean, I think the one time I played it with Legends OP, you want to just make a video, he played LF Piccolo, and he actually did decently. Like, LF Piccolo seems to work okay. But then again, I think he also had him Zenkai, so that obviously helps. And again, it's kind of gated behind the Zenkai, because I'm pretty sure that before the Zenkai, he's not going to do that much. Just like the
I would imagine not. Yeah, I would think not.
To add to Garesh's point too, there's other layers of monetization encouragement kind of in here too. Not necessarily if you're bringing one of the free Zenkais from the shop, but it's like you get an extra boost if your character's Zenkai 1 or higher right here. It's just like it's kind of scuzzy.
Just play one of the old Zenkais. Friendship rank,
friendship
rank 10.
the red Super Saiyan Goku, who's actually from this fight specifically. I wonder how he'll fare in this situation.
He's going to do so well.
He actually gets 0 boosts or buffs. And
he'll get
like
this.
Not even 1.
He'll get this if he's Zenkai 1 or higher.
No, the Ultra Goku gets 0.
Oh, the Ultra, yeah, no, he gets nothing. Yeah, I'm talking about the old red Zenkai Super Saiyan Goku.
When they did the Kid Ku and Trunks and all that, they were clearly the best unit to run. It's like
they're also free.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think even Yamcha. There's a raid where we got Yamcha, right? And yeah, they were always interesting for the raid. It didn't really strike me until you brought it up that this Ultra Ku is kind of. It was annoying me that he's pretty much worthless. If you don't have XSZ medals, he's gonna get like 2-shotted in PvP. He's gonna get 2-shotted in any other content, right? And so. I don't know. The fact that he can't even be using as co-op just dawned on me that he's kind of worthless until the end of next season.
He's still pretty easy to kill, even at like 7 stars. So I think like at least
that's because everybody has him like 250% boost panels.
Well, I wouldn't say everybody, but yeah, I mean he's still not difficult to kill below 9 stars. I mean I would say Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta even takes better hits.
With the co-op, the only thing I can think that would be an okay solution, number one, give us more boost units, obviously, right? Like things that are like you said, the red Goku, the OG Goku that every single person is going to have. Maybe you have in Zenkai because you can do your dailies, whatever else. Maybe you don't, I guess. Give a nice high stab buff to it, but then obviously Super Saiyan 4 is better. That's fine. But then do the co-op like we did with like Metal Cooler and stuff, where you have like a partner. I like that co-op personally, where I don't have to play with some random who brings 200%. It's like, all right, let me disband for 10 minutes real fast. Like, give me like a 14-star Goku on the other end. Yeah, give me an AI partner on the end of it. If you want to make it really hard, give me the boost unit to work with, and I'll fill my own team in then. It could be okay.
We'll take it a step further, and we'll make you solo the boss, and we'll remove your partner.
Yeah, I'll take that too. I'm down, yeah.
Mechanic. So
and then we'll just remove co-op.
There you go.
That's crazy.
That's the furthest step, is we just take co-op out.
Yeah.
Because look,
I think
oh, go ahead.
I think
I
I
was
like
gonna say,
what
I'm still,
Goresh kind of.
I'm still waiting for them to release those dual attack characters that they talked about in 2019, dude. I'm still waiting.
Yeah, with the best
Same for
special
Guild v Guild.
animations.
Yep.
No, but I think actually what Goresh was suggesting was to just remove the concept of boost unit altogether.
Yeah.
Just make the boss hard, make him
Oh,
dark type,
I agree.
so he has
I agree
no
to take it
no
out,
type
yeah.
advantage against whatever, right? And I mean, they could still say, okay, today's boss is purple because the new unit is Super Saiyan 4 Goku and he's yellow, whatever. Maybe just this slight edge, but you could still play whatever yellow unit you like, even type neutral if he's, strong against whatever tag the boss is. But I think I would prefer to just have him dark type and you just play whatever you like. Maybe you need to kind of build your team against a certain mechanic, like you bring Nameku for the counters so you don't lose your vanish so much, or you use Super Saiyan Blue Zenkai 7 Goku because his green card is awesome, whatever you want. But just you can build your own team and you can play it in your style, or you can play it with your friends and you can have two units that complement each other, because I've also seen people run stuff like Omega and Red Rildo or something like this, or DKP and Rildo, just because they get more buffs when the opponent is, bleeding or poisoned. I feel like that could be fun.
Yeah, that's
I hear you.
optimal. But I mean, if we're gonna keep this whole boost thing, because they're not gonna take it away, they want you to summon all the banners. We already know this. If they're gonna keep that, I think that obviously optimal is no boost characters, right? That's optimal. Or free to play boost characters only.
They could do more intuitive boosts. Like this is the fight versus full power final form Frieza. Any character that's from this story arc in terms of their tags on the character card could get a boost. And then because that's a wide swath of characters, that's fine. That would be fine. But giving
the specific issue that I have is not the fact that certain tags are getting boosts. It's that certain specific units are getting like 200% extra damage. Like that should not be a thing. Because then they have to balance the whole event around you using those units that are getting those absurd boosts, right?
Yeah, and then that unit also happens to be a Legends Limited unit who's not great at 2 stars anyway, and that complicates things even more for everyone who doesn't spend a lot of money.
I think what the idea is supposed to be is that co-op is an endless energy-free farming experience, and that during that co-op season, if you want the luxury experience of ending the boss immediately, you summon for the latest and greatest unit. Otherwise, you kind of wade through the problem. I think where it becomes unbearable is in the current extreme situation. It's go Goku or go home, and if you have another unit, you can try to make it happen, but it's out of your control. You're gonna get one shot. It feels like it's all up to RNG, and that's where as a player you feel cheated. If it's just wicked hard and you could feel like, man, I shouldn't have vanished there, that's one thing, but this is just straight up one-shotting. As Goresh said, one unit is being overly tuned to make it possible, right? And that's
It's an experience, all right. I'll tell you what.
And I know people have also mentioned the alternative floating around of like, oh, just give us the option to do co-op with a bot. And judging from how the UL Goku Piccolo bot PvP or PvE co-op went, I don't know how I feel about that.
I will say that
You're the only person that had an issue with that. I had no troubles with
Dude,
that.
my
at
Piccolo
all.
was like learning disabled, bro. Like, with Rising Rush.
You're the only person that had a massive issue with that since like the second it came out.
Bro, I saw it all over Facebook of people who couldn't even get the Goku because their Piccolo.
They're on
sucked.
Facebook, bro. They're already. Come on. But-
Well, I'm not the only one, bro. My Piccolo just stood there and died.
Yeah, but you're also on Facebook.
Oh my
I
god.
will
Go
say
ahead,
that
Goresh.
I think we talked about this last week too, but the fact that they made the boss dark type is really good because it eliminates the whole thing where it's like, oh, he's blue, I have to bring a green unit, or he's green, I have to bring a purple unit. So the whole color counter thing goes out the window, which I think is good because it gives you more options. It doesn't pigeonhole you into only having to choose the color counter option. So,
what if they had tiers like they do in Tournament of Power?
Yeah, they could do that, where like the lesser popular characters give you, I don't know, maybe more dual coins or something for winning.
Well, and I'm just thinking about straight up damage increase. And then you can have really hard co-ops like this, but you can say, oh, these awkward extreme units are actually really powerful. Maybe I can make this work.
Right.
All right. For the sake of time, we have one more topic that we will also have a video coming out very shortly, but we still want to address it real quick, and I'm going to hand it over to Nas with, you've seen it, people running 14-star units, people getting free Chrono Crystals. yeah, what do you think, Nas?
We have a video coming out to really dive deep into this situation, and by dive deep, it still doesn't explain how to do it. So for those of y'all interested in replicating it, sorry, I have to apologize. It's not what we're about. But in terms of the education of the situation, I know Professor has seen quite a few very sus situations in PvP. But essentially, to boil it all down, very quick and neat little package, there is an exploit going on with a payment system. It is geographically located to a specific region of the world, which means that a majority of the players doing it are either from that area or VPNing. Going by what happened on first anniversary, they are very diligent about keeping track of this stuff, even if they are slow to act on it. But I would expect a massive ban wave, and people that
Let me make it clearer than that. You will be banned if you use this exploit. Go ahead.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
there's no way around that because they have records of all of this. Even though people may have canceled the payments, they still have it on their end. And I guarantee they're just compiling it all to act on it in one giant swoop, which is going to leave a lot of upset people. But in layman's terms, it's still stealing, you know, even if it's the company's fault for not addressing the issue sooner. That does not give any one of us the right to steal, you know, despite how much I hate gacha games and think that they're toxic and exploitative, gambling. Even I still would not advocate outright theft. So that's essentially what's going on. People are stealing Chrono Crystals and able to summon infinitely, able to reroll equips infinitely. It's messing up the guild scores because they're getting like collector points nonstop. So it has far-reaching implications to the game. You can look in the past to other examples of games like this that have been shut down because out-of-control situations like this weren't addressed. So this is very bad. No one should be advocating for this.
It's crazy how some of the people just like don't even care either. Like, I ran into this dude the other day. He was literally ranked 4 in PvP, so he was in the top, like, you know, obviously in the top 5. His name was obviously advertised to everybody on the leaderboard, and his name was literally OXXO Truco or whatever the actual app is called. So you know, he just blatantly didn't care. And you know, it's actually crazy lately how many 14-star LF units I've been seeing. Now, I know there is some legitimate people out there that spend money on the game and they have 14-star units, but there's no way it's a coincidence all of the 14-star LF Rosés and 14-star Super Saiyan 4 Gokus I've been seeing. And it's mostly all in the top 100 too. So like I said, a lot of these guys don't really care. It's just blatant cheating. So, you know, like Gresh said, these guys are going to get banned.
Yeah, and chat, I just want to clarify one thing. I see people being like, oh, hacking to get a mid LL unit. Well, this has actually been going on, as what research has suggested, this has been going on since the UI Goku banner. So this has been going on for a while. It's just now becoming public.
If you recall, the first major ban wave that happened was the first anniversary. There were people that got banned in the first anniversary for things that they did a month or 2 months into the game's release, and they did not ban them until the anniversary. So they were literally sitting on an account and using an account for 10 plus months after doing something that was against the TOS, and they had them on the list, and guess what? They just banned them during the anniversary. So, you know, people have been doing this since UI Goku. Just because they haven't been banned yet doesn't mean that they're not going to be banned, because they will.
Yeah, and saying, I mean, I've had that first-hand experience because I was also making that mistake using third-party vendors. I did not complain about that ban. That was 100% justified. And I would say that about every ban about this as well. Like, if you do this, you deserve to get banned. You deserve 0 tolerance. You start from scratch, or you just, you know, move on.
Yeah, we've seen other games tackle this by, like, putting your crystal count negative and you have to like pay your way out, but that's not really Legends style. Legends just says deuces and closes access to your account. If you want to play, you got to start all over again. So if it's worth it for you, I mean, I couldn't see a world where that's worth it under any circumstance. Like
my biggest concern is that they don't. If you can give yourself infinite Chrono Crystals and Legends bans your account, okay, you make a new account and then he starts summoning again, right? It's just more of an annoyance.
Well, I'm sure they'll wait.
They got to have a complete patch for this system, and I fear that much like the DC exploit, Hacker, it's always a game of cat and mouse, right? They have a patch, and then unless it's fully detrimental to how that was being pulled off in the first place, they figure out a way to do it again. And I have a feeling that this is going to be something we're going to start seeing in Legends future is, okay, they figured out how to do it, and there's just a wave of 14-star units that are coming through, because like Swift and I are both seeing it constantly. It's just...
I was going to say, this is something that is in... I guess coordination with Apple, because it's obviously you pay through. I think this is an iOS thing. You pay through the App Store when you pay in the game, right? So I would assume that the Legends team is in contact with Apple, talking about this exact problem, and they're probably going to be looking into figuring out like how to fix this. So
this is a store issue. This isn't an actual hack.
Yeah, this is an exploit. It's not a hack. It's an exploit.
It's not a hack, yeah.
Essentially, what it all boils down to is the same thing that Legends has always banned people for, which is refunding crystals, spending the crystals, but keeping your money. Right? That's the problem here. This is just
basically what happens. Basically, what happens is there's a lag time between when you purchase crystals and when the payment actually goes through, but you still end up getting the crystals before the payment goes through, so you can cancel your purchase. It's TLDR version of how this works is what I just talked about. That's like, there's this one specific payment system, which is what the name of this thing, OXO, whatever. There's no way that they let this continue. There's going to be a shutdown of this payment system or something that prevents this from happening in the future.
I mean, honestly, anything that affects their bottom line, you can expect a ban. Like, that's how Bandai pretty much has been in the past.
Yeah.
They have zero tolerance.
Exactly.
I mean, just believe me when I tell you, you will be banned if you do this. So, have fun.
All right, I think those are fine closing words before the break. One more thing, because we didn't have a questions thread this week, we will take questions from chat when we come back. So make sure to think of what you want to ask us, and we'll be back in 3 minutes answering whatever questions Prof likes to take from chat, because he will be the MC for this portion of the podcast. We'll be right back, guys.
But right before we leave, I want to address one more thing I just saw chat say. You can refund Chrono Crystals in this game. That's legitimate. But you can't refund the Chrono Crystals and then spend the Chrono Crystals. If you erroneously make a purchase, you have to leave those Chrono Crystals in your account, not spend them, get in touch with them, and try to negotiate via that angle. And then they can take those Chrono Crystals back. No harm, no foul. But this is tantamount to just pure theft right here. This is a way different situation. So, yeah, we'll see you guys in a second.
I can't believe you ended it in the middle of the launch scene, man. Come on.
Well, it was looping over and over again, so, I know the chat enjoys it, but...
We could have done that for 20 more minutes, but we decided to just, for you guys. So I'm going to head it over to Prof, and you guys post your questions in the chat. Prof is just going to pick whatever question tickles his fancy, and we'll discuss it.
Yeah, just use the highlight message feature so we can see them easily.
Yeah, some questions from chat. This is not something we do very often.
Do you consider Bergamo an S tier unit? Because I do. No, he's in tier 1, maybe tier 2, but he's definitely understated. I don't know if you guys agree with me.
S tier for his name alone. I mean, Bergamo.
He's the burger king, dude.
Yeah.
True.
I will say his green card can come in handy.
Yeah, his green card's OP.
What do you guys think is the next GT character and or Zenkai's? I'm hoping it's Purple Goku. I said that earlier this podcast. What do you guys think?
For the next Zenkai?
Or just character in general that GT's needing to round out this team.
Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta needs a second version because Goku's got 3 and he only has 1.
My biggest issue with GT has always been the fact that whenever they release these hype units, they're always Super Saiyan 4s or Saiyans for GT, or Fusions for Gogeta if they want to go down the path for Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta for the anniversary. So in order to really hyper-focus on GT, they either have to make these units specifically have uniques that are only going to be usable with other GT battle members, or they have to release units like Oob and Rildo that are only going to be on GT, really. So for me, I would actually like to see a free-to-play, maybe Rising Battle Oob for the anniversary. That would really, really be powerful and boost GT a lot.
Yeah. I want to see some
Shadow Dragons would be cool. Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, let's go.
Nova, Ice Shenron. Yeah, those guys would be good.
I want to see Oceania Shenron. I've said it before, yeah.
Female Warriors could use that
awesome.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Super Saiyan Chum Chum subscribed for 3 months with Prime. Appreciate you, dog. And he asks, should special cards such as Blasts with Paralysis keep the special modifier effects if they are changed to strike, like via how Vegeta does his green card.
Oh, that's actually, I never even thought of that.
I think you keep the Dragon Balls, don't you? Or do you?
You do
use
keep
it
Dragon
completely
Balls.
Yeah,
a
you
fresh
keep the
call.
Dragon
You do keep Dragon Balls, yes.
So I would really like to see something like I love the idea of the deck feature of units actually bringing unique cards, not just a strike or a blast or both, right? So I really like the idea of converting cards and keeping that attribute if that becomes more prevalent in the meta. So yeah, I gotta say that would be a good change. It doesn't currently do that.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I never thought about it, but if they don't do it, they should.
Yeah.
Like I can't see a negative to it, right? Like there's so minor situations of converting cards like 18 or 21 Kefla, these units, like what are you gonna get, like -5% to their defense on one card? It's not like gonna break in the game. It's just kind of a cool little addition. I agree.
So I saw Jams ask, do you think this anniversary will be GT themed only? I
No.
mean, I think we're all expecting GT, but I'm hoping for some type of tournament of power, possibly, hopefully, God Key units.
No,
Red
no
one
red
that's
though.
red.
Maybe.
Okay.
Nah, it's
Yeah, we
gotta
need
be a
another
green
blue
and a
God
yellow.
key.
Yeah, we're
No.
gonna get all God Key units, and they're all gonna be blue.
Yeah.
They're all gonna be
I
green.
think that's fair. We need that.
So it wouldn't be one of our podcasts without taking a question from RMT, and he goes, thoughts on the units getting a feature like cover rescue or special cover change upon Zenkai Awakening. So it doesn't have it and then gets it like an IT cover. And
I think the answer to that would be most likely no. And the reason for that is because that would actually require them to go into the models and their animations and like actually update all those things. Because typically what we see with Zenkais is all they do is change the numbers. They don't actually go in and update models and animations, but that would actually require them to do that. So I would say no.
Yeah, the only instance where I see that being a possible thing is like Shallot specifically. If they ever change their mind on keeping him hero rarity forever, which has been their staunch position, that they want him to be a hero to provide like value to that rarity, which I don't know. The logic is kind of mind bending, but like if they were to example ever upgrade Shallot from like hero to ultra, maybe he would warrant them going back in and tweaking the character model. But for everybody else, all the other characters, I don't think they would ever do that.
There's a question I've seen a couple times. People are asking if they think Gohan will finally be dethroned by the 3rd anniversary.
Nah.
No, he'll still be viable. Like he'll probably never not be viable with the way they designed him. Like,
Well, the question
Well,
is he going to be
But
replaced as the
dethroned.
best unit definitively?
Yeah, the best.
Yeah.
I don't
Right.
think so.
I don't think so.
the window will continue to narrow, but I think he'll still keep the edge in a few areas.
Yeah.
I'll just chime in with my opinion on this. I think the way that they can do this without being overly oppressive, because I don't think anybody wants a repeat of Vegito Blue meta, right? That was like the worst
Oh,
meta.
God.
They can make I'm just assuming that the anniversary is going to be Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. Assuming that he's going to be Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, make him only really good on one team, like GT. And then make him not nearly as powerful on like fusions or Saiyans or whatever.
Yeah.
And have him hyper focus on GT, because GT is a tag that actually needs the help. And he could be the unit that is going to carry that team to victory. Whereas, he's not going to be super oppressive on his other teams. Like Vegito Blue was on Future, God Key, Fusions. Like all these teams became ridiculously annoying to fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Saiyans, everything. I think, yeah, that's a pretty good idea.
I don't know. I like the idea if he's hyper focused for just GT Saiyans, for instance, right? And he makes it the GT Saiyan team just pop off. Every anniversary we get, there's only been 2, but we got Super Vegito, who was undoubtedly the best unit at the time when he came out, and Vegito Blue, who was obviously undoubtedly the best unit at the time when he came out. And I'm inclined to say they'll just do it again. Like I think they could do it more responsibly. Like Super Vegito, although being the best, you had the clear God Key team that was an option. And actually, frankly, during that meta, I was still running Goten and Trunks, like the OG kids. So
dude, that first anniversary was so good. The meta, I think that was my favorite time of playing the game, because you had all those teams viable. God Key was like a brand new team that was very good. Fusions obviously was good with Super Vegito. You had Movies was pretty good too back then, right? Movies. Then you also had regen with Buhan too. I mean, LOE with Golden Frieza. All these teams were actually usable back then, and it was great.
Yeah, but they had all of that, and Super Vegeta was the best. So the Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta could come out. He could be the premier, best in slot, Legends Limited, ultra shiny unit that everybody's trying to pull, and it doesn't have to break the game. The issue that they're having to work around is, do they make this Gogeta better than a Zenkai? And then what happens when you Zenkai this guy? Does he not get a buff at all, or is he just setting a new standard? Like it'll be interesting to see how they tackle it. I really hope they've got some cards up their sleeve they haven't shown us.
They could tweak it like Goresh said, where just like the LL Green Super Saiyan 3 Goku, like he gets key and buffs if he swaps in when 2 Saiyans are on your team, right? They could just add a little passive in there that's like if 2 GT units are on your team. So he's still functional if you don't run him with GT, but he gets that extra, whipped cream and cherry on top if you run him how you're ideally supposed to run him, right?
Yeah. What if he gets like card draw speed level 1 if both of your other battle members other than this character are GT?
Yeah, that would be OP enough to really encourage you to want to run him on that team specifically, right?
Well, we see stuff with like the Ultra Goku buff that rewards you for running more and more Saiyans, right? And so he could get buffs for how many Saiyans you have on the team and how many GT units are together, right? And so obviously the obvious solution is run GT Saiyans, and then that's would make this new LF Goku actually have more value to him.
I liked the question earlier. I forgot who asked it, but what we think the next free-to-play grouping of EX characters might be, similar to how they did the Ginyu Force event.
The Demon Clan from Demon King Piccolo.
That'd be cool. Or they could do like Turles' little squad.
The Crusher Corp. Yeah, I mean, I want tambourine, cymbal, drum. I want all of those guys in the game.
Oh yeah, from
Dragon Ball Saga way better.
And then he could have a Tamberine's kill animation on his ult or blue card. Assuming he's an EX, he probably won't have an ult, but.
So let me sneak this question in there just because it's actually curious for me too. Those like Purple Awakening cards that 16 and a couple other characters have?
Yeah, just generally self-destruct or body change type stuff.
Yeah.
Is anybody more knowledgeable than me know what that card is, or if we're going to be seeing more of it in the future?
It's called the Awakened.
It's an Awakened Arts card. Yeah. I think it's pretty much discarded at this point. It's pretty much the same thing as an ult, right? It doesn't really have any functional difference.
Okay, because I know we're getting card sleeves for them. It'd be interesting if they revisit it as a unique card.
It's something that's been definitely on the back burner. Like, they haven't emphasized it at all. But if they were to rework its function in battle, then they could re-inject it as some new blood into the game. It's kind of like how they rework tackle or, tap attack clashing. They could rework that purple card and introduce it in a new way. And the assets for it already exist, so it would require less work from them.
Yeah, absolutely. And depending on the character, I think there's a lot of different options that they could possibly incorporate with that card, but they just have to work on it.
It would be cool if that, going back to our idea a long time ago of bringing a fourth, more item use character, like a Dende to heal or a throwaway cover change option, and it could activate off that purple card or something like that. I don't know. There's interesting things they could do with it should they want to.
Yeah, for sure.
That's where we're going to take the last question.
See.
We're going to pass it back to Paul.
But yeah, that's it for today. And again, for those of you who came late, just remember, next week the podcast will only premiere on YouTube. We will not be live on Twitch because we want to experiment how to bring you the content the best possible way. We want to see if General Gaming can, fill this role while we still have the podcast. And we will test that out. We'll definitely want to hear your feedback afterwards. And this podcast will air, as always, 24 hours after this on YouTube. Nas, what do we have on stream in store for today?
We're looking at Troco and Gale streaming at 7 p.m. and then potentially...
Eastern?
Eastern. All times in Eastern. Yep, 7 p.m. Eastern, Troco and Gale. And then at 10 p.m., 9 to 10 p.m., the block is going to be for me, Gresh, Truth, whoever's available to play whatever. If Truth wants to come back and do some Resident Evil, he can. Gresh wants to play something, he could. Otherwise, it'll probably be me and or Nate playing something. And there's currently no one for us to raid that's online right now. So if you guys have any suggestions, or Prof, are you going live, or what's the situation with that?
I'm gonna go live again here tonight.
I think we can do Battle of More again.
Hazing is
plays
a
Legends,
5-9,
Legends
right?
podcast.
Isn't he?
Okay,
Sounds
I just
right.
didn't know if someone in here directly was going to go live afterwards that we could benefit, but I can do that personally.
Yeah. No, Battlemore.
All right, I set it up. And with that said, we hope you have a great week, and we'll see you over on YouTube a week from now or in 24 hours. Take care. This is us signing off. Bye, guys.
We'll see you
ya.
soon.
Peace out.
Later, everybody.